You're listening to the Guitar Heroes podcast. Well, hello. Welcome to the Guitar Heroes podcast, episode number 15. And with me, as always, I've got Mr. Phil Walker. Oh.
Hi.
You set in the mood for today.
Hi.
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 And Mr. Lee Williams. God, that's a beastly sound for a telly, mate.
I was just saying, we've all picked different guitars tonight. This is quite rare. We've usually just got Strats galore, but I can see a beautiful looking Les Paul that we were introduced to last week. And Chris, you've got your Strat, and I'm on a telly. So
you have, based on Phil's lockdown purchase.
Well, it wasn't a purchase. I've decided to name this guitar Bog Off.
Bog Off,
because it felt like buy one get one free.
Well, I thought today's podcast would be quite fitting, as you've got that guitar, you've got a way to kind of show it off a little bit. So, so Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Steve Vai, these are some of the greatest guitarists, greatest ever axe shredders of all time. And, they're fundamental to a band sound. And if they deliver something special in that moment, they take a solo, perhaps lads like us at a young age get inspired and want to play guitar. So, I love music as a whole. I love a great song, but I can't deny that I'm always looking for that one great solo, in that song, I'm always looking for that solo. And hopefully in tonight's episode, we can look through what's inspired us, which solos in particular, and maybe a few examples of what makes a great solo. So,
sounds good to me.
It does. And
it's our moment to shine, isn't it? As the guitar player in the band,
this is where it all goes tits up, isn't it?
Particularly if you're not, particularly if you're not the singer / guitarist. If you're just the guitar player, then the guitar solo is our moment to step forward.
You come to that moment where the solo happens. You press the foot switch, and it's like, shit, it's not working. And then you're down there, and you're like 30 seconds into your solo, you're trying to dial in the sounds and whatever. And
that was one of the first things I can remember being taught, actually. I went to like this we used to go to this like band weekend when we were teenagers. It was great. I guess they were volunteers, used to put this thing on, and they'd just get 10, 15 young bands and just school them over the course of a weekend. And one of the things that they first told us was make sure you do the old cable round the Strat button before you plug in, because you don't want to be that guy that comes forward for the solo, stands on his lead and pulls the jack out.
Check out YouTube for those guitarists. Like when the guitarist comes forward and he swings it behind his neck and the strap comes off and it ends up in someone's car windscreen or something.
Oh, they're painful. We haven't quite got there with the story of Guitar Heroes yet, have we? We haven't quite orchestrated that one.
No, one of the things that we insist on that show are strap locks, just in case.
Yeah.
I saw
keep our teeth.
I saw a video on YouTube. Some guys, it's like an outdoor festival event, and he's there swinging his guitar around. I think he was like chucking it up in the air, and as it come down, he would catch it and then play something. But he threw it in the air so high that it literally went off the stage. It went behind the backdrop. Literally, and he was there just like...
I've seen it, yeah.
Asking for trouble.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But Brian Wampler did that as well, didn't he? He was demoing, and the guy who made the Paisley Drive pedal and what have you, that's on YouTube. He's got a nice.
Is he chucking his pedals up in the air?
Yeah.
So who wants to kick us off today? I'm dying to hear this Les Paul in action. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I am. I love a good Les Paul.
Well, we've not seen it in the flesh yet, have we? It's been a week and we've still not met her. So
Here's Bog Off.
Bog Off.
It's Bog Off. Where's Bog Off? Yeah, well, it's buy one get one free, isn't it? Because I bought a Les Paul and swapped it. With no money, so I call it Bog Off.
What's great, you got to enjoy that Les Paul. So you've had a good amount of time with a traditional. Now you get to extend.
Mate, I tell you what, it's so weird, really, really weird that I've got a Les Paul that doesn't weigh anything. I still go to pick it up and nearly put it through the ceiling because I need to use more muscle power than I actually do. You know what I mean? It's so light. It's great.
And
it really is.
You messaged me the other day, Phil, like you've wrapped the strings around the tailpiece.
Well, it came like that. But the
did it?
It came like that. And because it's been set up that way, I thought, well, I'll just do the same. But do you know what? There's something about what the viewers out there can't see, but on the stop tailpiece on Gibsons, a lot of people go through the back part and then up over the bridge. But on this, you kind of go back on yourself. So you go towards the back of the guitar and then the string pulls over. And I don't know what it is. It just feels so much better. I can't put my finger on why. I know Joe Bonamassa does that as well.
Yeah, it's an old Billy Gibbons trick. I think that's where Joe got it from.
I think it's to give you more string length, isn't it?
I heard if you think about it logically, it reduces the break angle over the bridge.
Yeah, this is what I said to you, Phil. Like that's the obvious thing that kind of jumped out at me is like so less tension on the strings and
yes.
And obviously you are extending the string length as well. So so but yeah, there is load of talk about it, isn't there? Like whether it adds a bit more sustain or something to the sound, but.
It's like I said to you, Chris, I'm not sure about that because I haven't had the guitar long enough to see whether it's... If I'd have done it on one of my others, then I would have... Oh, yeah, it does make that sort of difference. So it's too early to tell with this.
Yeah.
But
I think
I might do it on my other Gibsons and see when it's time for restringing and see what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I've
week
got such a hankering for a Gibson now. I can't stop scouring.
Do it.
I can't stop scouring Facebook and eBay.
What are you looking for?
Man.
What do you want?
Well, do you know what? I love a Les Paul, and I feel somewhat ashamed that I've never actually owned a Gibson Les Paul, and I feel like you kind of should. It's almost a rite of passage in amongst Strats and Tellys and all these other great things. But I just don't know how practical I find them, how well I get on with them, and so as much as I want one, I don't know whether I'd be better off with something like an SG.
Okay,
something just a little bit more. Similar to a Telly or a Strat, it's a thinner body, better access to the upper frets. I don't know, but then
there's something that
you buy an SG and I'm just going to regret it and go, it's not a Les Paul.
I tell you what, I bought an SG. I bought one from Absolute Music many years ago. It was like a custom one, and like the neck length is massive on it. It joins right at the edge of the body. And I tell you what, I played that guitar for about 2 weeks. And I had the worst pain in my wrist. Honestly, I got to the point. It was the only guitar I was using.
That's not from the guitar, Chris.
No, but honestly, I had such bad pain in my wrist. I had to stop playing for a little while. It got so bad.
Oh, really?
And I sold the guitar straight away, and then it all went away.
I had that once with a PRS when the neck was too slim. I had a very wide, thin neck profile, and it gave these long fingers issues. I changed to a thick neck. But I know what you're saying. The SG is a bit of a weird one, but
I must admit the SG is probably the guitar I least look forward to playing in the show.
Really?
Yeah, I don't click with SG. I think SGs look awesome, especially the white ones. I think white SGs look fantastic, but they're just not for me. They're not. Not for me.
I've seen quite a few of them out there as well. I quite like the SG. Is it the Special or the SG Junior? SG Junior with the single P90 and just the wraparound bridge. I could really easily get on with one of those, but then I'm almost like, I've got a P90 guitar, and it's not really what I need. I need that humbucker thing.
Do you know what? I would just say, if you've never had a Les Paul before, just go balls in and get a Les Paul standard that's really nice, got a nice top. Obviously get a nice weight, because I made the mistake of getting a heavy weight and I couldn't get on with it at all. So, when you play this, you might go, right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that might.
Yeah, I used to play that. My dad's 82 many years ago, and that was like an absolute boat anchor. That thing. And, but I love the one I've got now. The one I've got's a 2019 model, quite a new one, and the weight on it's a little bit lighter than your traditional, Phil, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was.
I think we had them hand in hand, but
everything's lighter than my traditional.
But the thing is, I haven't gigged that guitar yet, so it's been years since I've gigged a Les Paul. So I might do one show, and there's a bit of a period I use it in the show for, isn't there? So yeah, I might see after that. Be like, Jesus Christ, you'll see me backstage carving wood out of it.
Yeah,
trying to sell it to me.
Because I spoke to Lee, because obviously you've been in retail. I was like, these Les Paul 2008s. There's a lot of things I don't like about them. There's the circuit board. There's the jack. I'm not sure about all that, but I tell you what, once you get hold of one and the weight and everything, you go, oh yeah, that can all be changed.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to change the circuit board. I think it's fine. The only thing I'm going to do is change the jack socket. Because I've actually, I have been at it with my screwdriver, and I've taken the locking part off. But
Oh, okay.
I just hate how it looks. It looks
It's
ridiculous.
just weird, isn't it?
It should be on a speaker, not a guitar. That thing. It's not right.
Yeah.
So and the plastic, I changed all the plastic because the guy who had it before me, he had I don't know why, but he put different plastic on there. All the Gibson stuff was in the case, and I was thinking, oh okay. So I've swapped all that back, but he didn't have the original pick guard, so I'm getting an original Gibson pick guard, which is why I've not taken a picture of it, Chris, because I don't like this pick guard yet. So once the original pick guard,
I'm the same, man. Aesthetics are so important.
Oh, if you're gonna do it right. Otherwise,
do it
you'll
right.
not enjoy it. Yeah.
I tell you what, Lee. Though, if you are looking and for one, I came across a really good auction place. It's called Gardener Hallgate, I believe. Hallgate's in Houl. They have a site called Vintage Guitar Auctions, but there's a lot of new stuff on there as well. But you might be able to pick up a really good bargain. There's stuff on there that you're not going to find on eBay and stuff. So
the only problem with that at the moment is because I follow those. Is you can't actually go look at them at the moment.
You can't. No, you just have to go off their own. You go off their word. There could be a crack in headstock. Gibsons. You know. And
if you're going to spend that sort of money on a Les Paul, you want to have it in your hands for a bit, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Well, that is the trouble, because everything I'm looking at, we're so limited with distance at the moment that you're looking at stuff and you think, oh, I'm just going to have to take a punt, and if I don't like it,
no, I wouldn't rush into it. You're not in a screaming rush for one, are you? So.
Well, I could be. There's a lot of free time at the moment and a lot of guitar playing that's going on at home, and I just haven't got humbuckers. And anyway,
you can always borrow mine for a bit if you want, mate. I'm happy for that.
You won't get it back, Chris. That's the problem. I'll be gone. I'll be headed for Mexico. You won't see me. Go on then, Phil. Give us some.
Okay. Well, okay. There's a few things I could do on this, but there's one lick, one solo, guitar solo that's always been one of my favourites ever of all time, and I'm just gonna play it. You're gonna know exactly what it is, providing I play it properly. Obviously, if not, we're gonna cut this. So, because I'm not gonna butcher this solo. All right. So, okay, here we go.
No, you chose my solo.
Oh, no way!
Oh, God.
That's the first time that's ever happened.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, man, I've got all this shit about it.
Bin that, Chris. You're flying solo tonight, mate.
Chris is going, damn, I'm going first next time.
So here's mine.
Well, oh no, I feel really bad. No, I don't.
Well, go on, you can share it then.
No, that's right.
I'll tell you what, I've just played it. I know bugger all about it, so you tell us about it, Chris.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go and grab that piece of paper. Give me 5 minutes.
I do know one little thing. Okay, it was played. Oh, wait till he gets his headphones back on.
Have you got a machine that can
it was played
paper?
On a 1959 Les Paul was that solo.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I believe it was, because Lucas has got a 59. Yeah.
I would always imagine that would be something a bit more shreddy on that.
Yeah, well, if you look at the video as well, the Rosanna video, original one from 84 or whenever it was, he's playing the 59 in that video.
Ah, okay. Yeah. It's a cracking tone, but then Luke rarely has anything other than a cracking tone.
It's got great sound. But like, I wrote a few points down about it.
Okay.
Like, just trying to keep along the lines of what makes a great solo, and like I was really sitting with it. Like that song, I love the second solo in the song as well. That's I didn't have time to learn that. That would require a bit of work. I think there's some interesting stuff going on there. But obviously this solo is this song is really musical though. The phrase at the beginning, it's so in keeping with that song that and then he repeats that again a little bit higher. But like pivots on that note, doesn't he, Phil?
Yeah.
And you got that line. That next line he does is like I've stolen. How was it? But that's actually taken from the horn line. Just before the bridge. Take me all the way.
I was going to say it sounds quite It's
Yeah.
quite jazzy. It's quite horn-like, sort of woodwind, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and but I think, you know, if you're not a guitarist listening to this song, there's so much there that you can grab hold of as a listener because it references little bits throughout the song that you hear throughout the song.
Well, do you know
but
what?
also
Another thing you said, there's a band which I'm massively, or used to be massively into. Still am, actually. I've just bought them on vinyl. A band called Thunder.
man. Yeah,
Luke
amazing.
Morley, the guitarist from that band, he's a left-handed player. He's quite a well-known Les Paul player, and the solo is really quite similar from one of their biggest songs, "Love Walked In." I'll just play it really quickly. Although he plays it in a slightly different position, I'm playing it on the lower end of the neck just to prove my point of how it sounds. But the Rosanna. Okay, so this is the "Love Walked In" solo. So it's still quite Rosanna-y, you know?
Yeah.
You think,
Which
let's see
is
where he got that
first?
from. It was Toto.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that was
I
from
think it's such
Toto
an
4.
influential record, isn't it? And it's such an influential sound that.
Yeah, it's
man.
really good, man. There's so much in there. I think as a guitarist that you can literally take so much out of that and apply it to your own playing. It's this all his solos just offer something great for you to learn, and yeah, that's a great one. Nice one, Phil.
Sorry. I've seen Toto 2 or 3 times now, and they're just amazing. Really, really good.
Yeah. They got John Williams' son on vocals now, haven't they? You know, John Williams, the classical composer, film composer. It's his son,
Joe?
Joseph Williams. He's been with them for a while, but he's the son of
Joseph
John
Williams, actually the original singer before Bobby Kimball, I think.
Oh, really?
Right in the age, just never wanted to tour.
Ah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty
know
sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because they were a gang back in the day. You know, when they were at school, really. You know, I think Jeff Porcaro and David Page, they played on so many records that you don't even know they're on it. You know, although people have heard Toto, they don't know they're listening to Toto. You know, because it's those guys that just had the LA session scene tied up. They were the guys.
Yeah. I mean, Steve Lukather, the guitarist, he's done so much as well. He works with Michael Jackson, and he's written so much good stuff, isn't he? Outside of Toto, and just I think as a guitarist, he's just as good a musician and composer, isn't he?
Well, I'll tell you what, here's a recommendation for all the listeners out there. Get the book, The Gospel According to Luke. I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, The Gospel According to Luke. It is a fantastic book. And I had, there you go. You guys can't see it at home, but yeah, it's. I got it when I came out of hospital a couple of years ago, and I just couldn't put it down. It took me about a day to read all that. I was just glued to it. Amazing. Some of the stories in there are just fantastic. He's lived a life or two as Luke.
Yeah, and they've just played on everything. I was listening to Randy Newman the other day randomly.
Oh, is that Toy Story?
Yeah, the guy that did Toy Story. But the Toto guys played on a load of his stuff. It was just one of those weird things where, like you said, Chris, they played on so many different things that you think, oh man, this is a killer track. The band sound great. You look it up, it's like, okay, it's basically Toto. Yeah. And it was the tune. What is it? I Love LA. Have you heard that?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
We love it, and it's it's Toto.
Oh,
Basically
wow.
backing up Randy Newman. It's awesome. Really cool.
That's awesome.
There's a couple of cool Michael Jackson stories in that book as well, which I won't say, but they're really funny.
Yeah. Well, Phil, that was a great nomination, and so good that we both chose it. So
that says something. Then that says something.
It does. So how about you, Lee? You got anything interesting for us today?
Well, funnly enough, Chris, I have.
You haven't got Rosanna as well, have you? That would be so good.
I'll just refer to my notes because I've been thinking of things. Do you know what? I found it difficult because I was thinking, my favourite guitar solos always seem to be the ones that I can't play. And historically, that's always been the case because when you learn to play something, you sort of demystify some of the magic, I find.
Yes.
And things that you hear with your ear and you go, I don't know how he's doing that. when you actually realise how they're doing it, or you figure it out, and you go, oh, okay. For me, I just remember back being a kid, when I was a teenager, it was always the Sweet Child of Mine solo. That was like the holy grail. When you're playing Green Day songs, it's like if you can play Sweet Child of Mine, you know, you've made it. You're the one. And I remember eventually learning it, and then it sort of lost its magic a little bit for me, because when I'm listening to it now, I'm listening to it as a guitar player, and I kind of know, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. So some of my favourites are things that I definitely can't play. One that came to mind was you need to check out the track "Lonely in the Night" by Eric Johnson. It's from the Venus Isle album, which is probably my favourite of Eric's records, and the track "Lonely in the Night." It's an album track. It's like, I don't know, it's number 5, number 6 on the track, but there's 2 guitar solos, particularly solo number 2. I don't think I could learn it even if I tried, but I sort of don't want to, because every time I hear it, it's just absolutely, it's just magic. It's just Eric at his absolute best. And I mean, the go-to option for me as well, that I wrote top of the page here, it's always been my favourite guitar solo, was Hotel California. It's just one of those things that 1976, Don Felder, genius. I don't think he gets enough credit for that song and that solo, and obviously Joe Walsh joining him as well. It's just the most melodic, tuneful, but I don't know, it's got everything. It's got tone, it's got technique, it's got I don't know. And it's great to get to hear it every night on stage. But you guys are the ones that have to play that, so I thought maybe you could play it for the listeners while I try and remember what the thing I'm actually going to play is.
Oh, put us on the spot there, Lee. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
for that,
go
mate.
on.
Yeah.
Could we do this together, Phil? It's been a while.
Well, it might be out of sync because we're doing the Zoom thing. It might not be together, so I can't even remember it. I'm going to make a mess of this. It's a year since I've played this.
I knew it was going to fall apart
there. We're so out of time to each other, I can't do it.
I'll try and edit that together beautifully for the listener, but what we could hear now with a delay over Zoom was something else.
If Zoom could nail this latency thing, man, we could do gigs like this. This would be great. That'd
be great. I'd never need to put my pants on again.
Oh man, that was something else. Thank you.
I'm so sorry for Joey Walsh if you're listening, oh man.
Thank you for treating me to that. So okay, something that I was going to play. Again, I texted you guys today and I said the problem is everything I want to talk about I can't play. But there was one thing that, again, harked back to my teenage years that I just remember. First time I heard it, blew me away. So I'm going to do my best. I might have to have a few cracks at this, and then through the magic of editing, the people listening to this podcast might hear something that resembles half-decent take on this. But bear with me here, folks, because this is a perfect example of why I need that Les Paul, or at least something with humbuckers, because this is not the sort of thing that you should be playing on a 50s style Telecaster. Okay?
Of course, Play With Me, extreme.
Play With Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Nuno just...
Do you know what, mate? You should leave that take in as it is, because it literally will go to show people how hard this stuff is to play. I mean, that solo is the only person I've been able to see who can play that is Paul's son. He literally nails that with ease, and it's literally, he said it took him so long to learn.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that that if you sit there and play it for like 5-10 minutes, you can kind of get it. But then if you go away and have dinner and a few glasses of wine and then come back, it takes you like another 10 minutes because there's like little bits. But it's the first bit's all right.
We've lost him. He's gone.
He's gone.
Lee,
Yeah,
come
so when
back.
you listen
Where are
back-
you?
that-
Come back.
Come back to us. Come back.
Do you know what I really wanted to do as well? I wanted to throw a bit of Get the Funk Out in there as well, because that solo, I think I heard Play With Me first, because I think I probably heard that tremolo picking bit in Bill and Ted. You know, when Beef Ovens on the keyboards.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yeah.
And they just keep playing that bit over and over again, and it's just like, yeah. But Play With Me as well. Get the Funk Out as well, which is just... There's a great video online, actually, where Brian May sits down and kind of talks you through the Get the Funk Out solo.
I've seen that video, man. That's great.
And to see Brian just, you know, he's there like, this man's a genius. This man is a genius. Every little lick in that song, particularly the whole like tapping bit that he does, is just like, yeah, crazy. So
yeah, it's
good for
amazing. I
me,
mean,
Nuno.
without these guitar solos, I mean, it's a good way to kind of, for that player to kind of show off how good they are. Without them, you wouldn't really know how good a player they are, really, would you? I mean, and they're so important to the songs as well, especially in rock music. And
well, the thing with Nuno in particular, I'm not like heavily into the whole shred thing, but he seems to make it. He brings in that element of a kind of rhythmic funk aspect to it. It's so percussive, but it's also so melodic. Like when I was looking at that today, just trying to learn it, I was thinking, well, this is hard enough to play, but he actually wrote it. And that's the
thing.
Genius that you sort of forget. You think, okay, yeah, I might be able to sit here for a day and try and fumble my way through it, but actually writing that and making it fit within the song, it's just because it doesn't sound out of place. It kind of makes the songs. It's not like they've written a great ballad and then he's just stuck some amazing shred solo in the middle. It's like, no, you're waiting for the solo. That is the song. That's the sort of climax.
Well, not
of
only
the
does
song.
that make you sick, but did you also know that Nuno is an incredible drummer? And is the drummer in a Van Halen tribute band with Satchel from Steel Panther.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know there is, and there's footage of them playing, and Steve Vai joins them on stage. Have you seen that?
I've not seen that one, but I've seen the one where he jumps on stage and it's with Steel Panther, and Nuno boots the drummer off, and I think is it Hot for Teacher they do? It's brilliant.
Right, really? Yeah, there's
Yeah,
another video actually. They had Nuno out in the audience. They had Steve Vai, Zach Wilde, and Nuno all going at it, and they're literally out in the audience, taking solos and trading, and it's it's pretty
Amazing.
awesome.
He's just a freak of nature. That was 1989 that they recorded that, and
No, it's the first time he's come up on this podcast actually.
He was one guy for me that I think I did mention him before when we were talking about Van Halen, because I think I said that when I was young, Nuno was my Van Halen, but obviously the sort of lineage between the two is so obvious. But he was more my era, and he was the first guy that I just remember I mean, I came out of AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and all the sort of classic rock, and Nuno was kind of the first shred guy that I was just like, huh? I just remember vividly, like me and my friend Alex just sitting and playing guitar for hours and hours a day, and we were just like, if we could sound like anybody, we would sound like Nuno. I just didn't know how he was doing it. Like that song, even now, even having like tried to figure it out and tried to sort of play through it, you think, Jesus, like to do that in the studio, but then to do it live when he's like rocking out.
And like you mentioned,
Crazy.
Dave, how to come up with it as well.
Yeah, and how to write it. I mean, I could list his guitar solos, but yeah, how to construct this stuff and make it fit in a song, that's maybe arguably the hardest part.
Yeah, I think that's what makes some of these players just great. Like you take Slash with "Sweet Child of Mine," or my favorite solo is actually from Guns N' Roses solos from the song "Night Train." That's one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs. And
used
that
to
solo
do that in a band. I love playing that song.
Yeah, man, it's got everything, and like you kind of think actually Slash knows quite a bit of theory because there's moments he's really following those chord changes in the song, and he's almost playing arpeggios with them, and you just think, oh, there's another level to his playing.
I think with players like Slash, that side of it is just sort of pulling more on the sort of naturally good ear, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
more
maybe.
Than,
yeah.
I doubt Slash was probably. I mean, they said that they wrote "Sweet Child of Mine" in like a jam or some sort of drunken after party thing. I briefly saw a story about it today. Online.
Oh, I believe that.
And yeah, it's not the sort of thing where he was going, right, so we're going to play Dorian on this and we're going to do this. It's like jam, feel it out. Whereas Nuno's kind of stuff, they might have jammed the songs together, but then there must have been a degree of, right, see you later, guys, I'm going home to spend a week working on this guitar solo, but when I come back, it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, well, that's a good one, Lee. That's very good, is that? I like it.
You're listening to the Guitar Heroes podcast.
Oh, you missed it, guys. I just smashed
You
it.
nailed it, yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, we missed it. Now we've got to move on to Chris's solo. Oh, what a shame. Never mind, eh? So, Chris, did you have a second option?
No, but I'm trying to think. I have been thinking this whole time. Oh man, it's tough actually. Do you know what? When I first started learning guitar, I was always drawn towards solos, and the first thing I remember trying to learn was the Trooper solo by Iron Maiden.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as a kid growing up in Tottenham, there was my neighbours. They used to have. We had some bikers live next door to us, and they always used to have like the Iron Maiden like leather jackets on and stuff. As a kid, I used to think that was well scary looking at stuff like that because I didn't really know. And as you get older, I then hear it, and something happened. Like there was a relation between hearing it at like the age of like 12 or something. Again, it was almost like for the first time. But hearing the Trooper, oh man, that solo at the beginning, and I might see if I can give it a go. Again, I apologise if I balls this up. But,
Okay.
so me and Dave did this at the start of lockdown. Dave Phillips, we did this at the start of the very first lockdown.
Yeah?
So it's been about a year now, isn't it, or so?
Okay.
Let me see. But, change it to me. I can't remember. No, I can't remember it. No
Play
chance.
Rosanna instead.
Okay. Yeah, this is my nomination.
Okay.
Does
anyone get deja vu?
Yeah.
Do you know, that's my favourite bit of the solo. I'm never going back to it. But that bend he does, and then as he's holding that bend, he then frets the note, the fret just above. That's my favourite bit, and I've nicked that so much. And
It's a cool little-
it's great little
Everybody
phrase. But
has
yeah,
every-
I'm sorry, I haven't got really a backup to that. I had a poor attempt at the Trooper. Got to go
That's
away and
all
have
right.
another look at that. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool just to maybe touch up on, talk about some solos, and maybe we can look at this again in the future. Maybe we'll go and look at some like guitar riffs or something, or something else
Well,
guitar
I'm
related.
gonna put Walker on the spot again because actually,
Oh.
again, a bit like Hotel California, my go-tos as soon as you said guitar solos was Hotel California, and then I went Bo Rap and Sultans.
Oh, okay.
And
Sultans
again,
a swing solo.
both things
Yeah,
that
great,
we get to enjoy playing every night in the show. But Mr.
Yeah.
Walker, maybe you could give us a bit of those.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Hang on. bluffed my way through that one, didn't I? Yeah. And what was the other one you said?
And Sultans.
Oh, Sultans. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sultans
yeah.
on the Les Paul. See, nobody's really interested in that bit. They just want
do
the
you know
fast
what?
bit.
Instead of
Just-
Sultans, could you play the riff you was playing earlier? Because you got the sound for it right there. Would that
Which
be
one?
okay, Lee?
What's
'Cause
that?
Although it's not a solo, it's my favourite Dire Straits guitar riff.
Oh, okay. You mean what he was
A
doing
bit of
before
money.
before we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I tell you what, another one that's really cool, and it's on a Les Paul, is just them notes, Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
That's that. Ah, I love that bit. I love that bit. Don't care about the rest of it. I just love that bit. Yeah.
Man, they're all such great songs, aren't they? Such great solos, and I mean, we could literally go on for hours and hours.
We'll definitely do another one of these.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do another one and like dive into the sounds maybe that we're using to maybe maybe pick one from the show or something. I mean, we've done a few already, but I actually wanted to jump onto another topic, if that's okay. Are we able to move on from here? Do you think?
Yeah,
Go on.
I think so. The final point I was just going to say about guitar
Yeah, go
solos
on.
is something I can't remember who said it, but it stuck with me, and I think it's definitely true. The mark of a good solo for me is one that you can sing. If it's that good that it gets in your head, even if it's crazy and fast. I mean, I can attempt to sing Nuno's. I know what I'm saying in my head if I sing the get the funk out solo. But everything that we've just discussed, I think that's true for all of them.
Yeah, you take
the melody's so strong that you could kind of when you hear it, you know, you sing along with it, don't you?
Except Yngwie Malmsteen, who you'd end up just spitting over everybody trying to sing what he's doing.
but then you see, now, not to bash Yngwie, because
Love Yngwie.
we do, but
Oh man, we do.
maybe arguably that's why I can't really think of a specific guitar solo that I would pick out of his, because it's all technically brilliant, but like you say, I don't sing along to it. It's not an earworm.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
No.
I know what you're saying.
I'll tell you what, Lee, because we've probably played this song so many times, and it's the Oasis number, Noel Gallagher on guitar.
Don't Look Back in Anger.
Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yeah.
That guitar solo is
great.
actually it's great. It's a really good. Because the thing is, you can sing everything in that, and whenever I've done that at a gig, the audience go mental over it because they could maybe because they can sing along to it.
I think you texted me earlier when I was saying about right, that's it.
Yeah, I put it down as a joke, but
Yeah,
really,
you
when I
said-
think about it, I was actually that's a really good solo.
In hindsight, you probably should have done right now.
It's probably the only thing I can play. I'm not going to attempt it because if I pulls that up,
Sorry, right. Moving on. You were saying something.
Yes,
else.
Chris. Is this
That's
Chris's
fine.
corner?
yeah, I'm going to change guitars for this as well. I just
Okay.
wanted to throw a question out, which maybe could lead on to another podcast episode. So
Okay, well, let me cue the music while you change the guitars. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry, I've got burps. I've had too much pot.
That's the port.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Ladies and gentlemen, will you cue the music? Sorry.
Jesus.
So no one obviously can see this, but right now I'm holding a 1964 Hofner Coloramo, and it's literally just like I don't know what it is. It's
It's
not
noisy.
It's noisy, yes.
Yeah, it's a little noisy. It needs a little work, but I was asking myself, what's the hype over vintage guitars? This has been at my dad's house for many years now, and like he's had a '62 Strat and some really old guitars, and I'm just like I've been playing this and just thinking, why is it that I love this so much over like my Strat and stuff? What's the hype behind vintage guitars? And it's not a question we're going to probably be able to answer in a short space of time, but I don't know what it is for me. That is it, maybe the history and stuff behind it. But when I play, I play differently. I don't even want to hold a pick when I'm playing this guitar. I put it down. I just literally just want to use my fingers on this. It's literally it's a new jack, as you can.
I think I know the answer
won't be coming on the
to.
road with us.
Yeah,
But the thing
I
is,
think I know the answer to what's the hype behind vintage guitars, and I think it's collectors. I think me and the guy who I bought this Les Paul off Bogoff, we had a bit of a conversation about that, and a lot of vintage guitars aren't necessarily good.
no,
They're a
no.
load of rubbish, in fact. You know, even and I'm talking Fenders and I'm talking Gibsons. The crap. There's a lot of ones that are good as well. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Does I don't know. I've got a '79 Strat. I don't really look at it as vintage. I don't know. '79 doesn't seem that long ago. Well, to me anyway. Yeah, leave comments below. Yeah, but it's so pristine. It doesn't seem like a vintage guitar to me. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. But I don't know. My reissue Strats and that play better than the '79 that I've got. I don't know.
Because there is a lot of talk as, the woods they were using were better, the craftsmanship was better. But then obviously you get like to the late 60s and 70s and, everyone wants to learn guitar and the manufacturing side just gets better. And there's no doubt that this guitar, it's got a ton of mojo. It's crackles and all sorts going on. And like the wood, it's got all these lacquer cracks, on the neck.
Do you know
and
what,
everything on
Chris?
the
I
body.
think you're absolutely right. I think this is a separate episode because I think we could go on a lot about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe let's save this for the next episode, and maybe anyone who's listening, please send us in any comments that you have that can maybe help fuel the next episode for this.
Well, I'll just make one because it ties into
on.
what the main subject was tonight. Do you think maybe it's just because people want to buy into a piece of history, and obviously a lot of the greatest guitar music from the 60s and
great
70s
guitar solos,
and the greatest guitar solos, like you mentioned, Lukather with his 59 and everybody else who used a 59, they all played those vintage guitars. So maybe it's that wanting to feel a connection and feel like you've got the real deal, because back in the 60s and 70s, they were all cutting records on these classic guitars. Maybe I'll just throw that out there. Maybe that ties in. I mean, the tone on Hotel California, I think, didn't they use a 59 on that as well? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sure.
Those guitars would sound so different nowadays. That's the thing. Like they age and everything like that. And this guitar wouldn't be worthy to take out on the road. It's got a replaced tuner and stuff. Its tuning's a little unstable and it needs some new wiring and stuff. But
all right, we'll delve into the vintage rabbit hole then. We'll go down that on another episode.
Well, let's do that next time. It's me in the hot. It's me in the hot seat. So let's do that next time.
All right, we'll leave you to kick that off.
Unless I get my special guest on, and then it'll be my special guest. But I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm trying to get hold of him. So if not, we'll do vintage guitars next week. But I've had a couple of vintage guitars over the years, and I've got interesting stories about them. So that'll be really cool.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
I mean, we can carry on both themes from today: guitar solos, and with looking at other riffs.
Well, we
and
should
even more
definitely return
solos.
to guitar solos again, because you've got the old the cogs turning now, and I'm thinking.
Oh man, absolutely.
There's so much good stuff.
That was the whole point of it. Anytime I'm in a hot seat, I kind of, you know me, less chatting, more playing. So, so yeah. So
what you mean, Chris? You're a right chatterbox. Can't shut
Not,
you out.
not this time. Unfortunately, I interrupted him with the solo we was going to do. So couldn't even get that in, could he?
I can't even win. I can't win.
Right, before we
there needs to be an episode, but just
before we conclude, Phil, have you got anything to rant about today?
Do you know what? There's nothing much to rant about.
No.
I'm just in my own little. But I know. I suppose it's.
Could
not
it be
even...
a positive one? It doesn't have to be negative all the time, Phil.
Okay.
A positive rant, is that a thing?
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
of
do
course
it
it
then.
Go on about something that's.
Let's cue the effing music.
Phil's rant. Phil's rant.
Well, I didn't swear, did I?
That was
So
brilliant.
a little bit of a rant at the minute. Then is the corona. It's not a big rant. It's no big deal really. We're just all out of work. But no, it's just a little bit about theatres and what have you. Because obviously that's our main grease. Is theatres. And I feel like it's all been overlooked a little bit. In this corona times, and it's a massive £1 billion industry, is the theatre industry, and I just feel a little bit shortchanged. I know they're kind of looking at it a bit more now. The few things that's been said that was in the papers today about it, but it's a bit frustrating that they're not really thinking of a good way back for us. You know, there was the social distancing in theatres, which didn't work. There was another on about doing on-the-spot testing on the way into theatres. That's not going to work. So I don't know. I'm just. It's not really a rant. It's just a frustration and cause for concern.
Justified.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's justified. Yeah. Only 10 minutes before this podcast, while I was stuffing my face with some delicious pasta, Tony Robinson, Baldrick from Blackadder, was on TV campaigning for the fact that in amongst all of this and the whole Brexit thing, you've probably seen the controversy around musicians and performers touring rights in Europe. And he was saying, we've been completely forgotten. The government just passed, the government and the EU just passed laws that allow lawyers, architects, medics, lots of other professions that he listed to just travel visa-free for work. And musicians, performers, anyone in the live entertainment industry has been completely excluded, meaning different visas for every country, carnets for electrical equipment, which just means that unless you're Joe Bonamassa, unless you're whoever.
Well, actually, you just mentioned carnet. I got somebody forwarded me an email today saying that if you're a member of the Musicians Union, you get a real reduced rate on carnets if you're travelling abroad.
Well, that's one
great.
thing, but he's making the point that we shouldn't even that like all these other industries aren't getting charged, and they. I mean, he was obviously talking about actors, but he was saying that 80% of actors on the equity list have reported that they're now seeing job applications requesting that you have a European passport before they'll even entertain you, not a British passport. And it's like, So that just ties into what you're saying about being left behind. Definitely.
Yeah, a little bit. It'd be interesting because it's become quite a big deal as this now, and a lot of people have been, doing the old protests, and there's a lot of things online about it now. So I don't think it's something. And thanks to Andrew Lloyd Webber as well, who's a bit of a hero in my eyes. He's been, is a
Well, he's got enough
figure,
invested. He's got enough invested.
Yeah. Well, he owns half the theatres in London, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so I mean, it is now. Even maybe people who hadn't even thought of theatres before have now heard of theatres. Maybe that's a good thing. And I do think I'm going to leave this little rant and this podcast on a high note.
Okay.
Because I do think that when we do go back to theatres, eventually, once we get the green light to go back to what we think is normal, then I think it's going to be booming. I think business will be booming. I think theatres may even get a newer audience.
I think people are just going to be dying to get out.
Yes.
They get out of their house and go to events, and I think, I think most industries are going to do well from it.
I do feel for all those, because I know there's a few shows that have gone bust. They've had to call it a day. They've had to, I know a lot of crew that have had to go get normal jobs. Whether they'll be coming back. Funny enough, I spoke to our crew today, and they're really keen to get back and what have you. So that's really, really good. I think it'll be a little bit, dipping your toe in the water when we first go back, whenever that may be, if it's later on this year. But I think 2022, if providing there are no more hold-ups and no more nasty diseases around the corner, I think theatres will be booming, and I think it'll be a booming industry. I do.
I think this is definitely going to be the last of the lockdowns, I think. So vaccines are rolling out in the millions, so we're doing all right. But on a high note, thank you guys for joining me on today's episode.
Well, thank you for
fun talking about
hosting,
solos.
Thank you, Chris.
It's been fun.
I've really enjoyed being with you.
No, it's been great. Anyone listening, if you've got any solos out there that you absolutely love and want to hear us have a go at, please send in your requests. And maybe if you own a vintage guitar, if you're a guitarist or not even a guitarist who collects vintage guitars, maybe you could give us an insight into what your thoughts are that we could maybe help fuel future episodes.
Definitely.
And on that note, Lee, do you want to do the socials so people know how to get hold of us?
Indeed. Let's see if I can remember this. So if you want to find us on Instagram, you can search Phil Walker Guitar, Lee Troy Guitar, and Chris Anthony Guitar. If you want to find us on Facebook, it's Phil Walker Guitarist, Chris Anthony Guitar, and Lee Williams Guitarist. You can find the Story of Guitar Heroes on Instagram and Facebook, or you can head to the website www.storyguitarheroes.com, and of course head over to YouTube where you can search Phil Walker Guitarist and check out some behind the scenes vids.
Yes.
Cool. Nice one, chaps.
Lovely. See you soon. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm not used to doing all this, inviting people to chat. Don't usually want to chat with anyone. Oh, how do I do it? I forgot how to do it. Oh, no. Oh, no, my computer's going to blow up. What have I done? No. You stupid machine.